AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Josh All, your host today, and I've got special guest Jake Burns from Browns Film Breakdown coming on the show here in a little bit. I do a quick interview with him talking about what he's seeing from the film and his takeaways from this catastrophically abysmal, horrible, pathetic, just downright stupid Browns offense on the film. He gives us some takeaways and perspectives that, well, I'm really not surprised to hear, but it is confirmation of what we're seeing on the field on Sundays. But I got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. For being the Browns bye week, there was a whole lot of tidbits and nuggets and bits of information that came out yesterday. We had Kevin Stefanski's press conference and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to get to everything. We're going to talk about it all. For coming off of that loss in New England and how bad it was for this team, for this organization, for this regime, everything. I'm actually very excited to be with you guys today. I think this is going to be a fun show. And, you know, we have to laugh together. We have to enjoy our time together because, boy, Browns fandom is not for the faint of heart. This is the kind of BS nonsense you go through seemingly every year. Every year, you got a couple outliers here and there, and I know those were the Coach of the Year award-winning seasons or whatever, but I'm not putting all my stock into the outliers. I'm looking more into what has become the freaking trend. Once again, for the Browns, just same crap, different faces, different names, but it's the same movie, and we're watching it over. It's just the disaster of the Browns remade over and over. It's like the Batman movies. Like, they just can't stick with one. They got to keep remaking them and restarting, and it just never finishes out. Man, that really sucks. I like Batman a lot. But anyway, before I dive into everything, make sure you guys head to jointhedogs.com to become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. Sync up with the private Discord. Talk about this all the time. I've only done one article here, but I'm starting to do a little bit more long-form developed articles, writing exclusively in the Patreon. So if you want a little bit more of that, there's going to be more coming. Like I said, I've only done one so far, but there is going to be more, and that will be exclusively for the Patreon members. And then in the Discord, we do Dog Pack Discord live shows every week where you can tune in live and just watch and listen. You can, contribute in the chat and make some comments, ask some questions, or you can come in live on the show. It's like a live call-in radio show right there in Discord. You can talk to us, ask questions, have a conversation, all that fun stuff. We love interacting with our Dog Pack members. You guys are the best. You guys really, your support of the show, everybody's support of the show, but the Dog Pack members specifically, it means the world to us because you guys have kept us going and growing. That's the most important thing. Your support, your monetary support, helps us continue to grow the show, grow the platform, and do what we love to do for you guys more and more each year as this podcast continues to go on. So thank you. We appreciate you, and that is jointhedogs.com. Okay, so the first thing I want to get to here, you know what? Actually, before I dive into my notes, I did get a voicemail from Garrett, and I want to play that because, first of all, I love getting voicemails from you guys. That's another thing you can do if you want to interact with the show, and that is www.thedogspodcast.com. Go to leave voicemail in the drop-down menu or up top, wherever you are on a computer or, on your phone, and you can just record your voicemail and you can listen to it back. So if you don't like how it sounded or, like what you said, or you want to just do it differently or redo, you just delete it, re-record, and then whenever you're, comfortable with what you have, send it to me and it will get played on the show. So here's today's from Garrett.
This is Garrett over in Arkansas. Yeah, the Browns are struggling as of late. I know everybody is mad at Dillon Gabriel. I know he's been struggling, but I don't think it's all his fault. We have the worst wide receiver core in the NFL. We do not have a strong line, and so we talk about him throwing it downfield. I don't think we have the time for him to throw it down the field or for our wide receivers to get open, because I don't think they're getting separation on the routes. Now, I might be wrong, but I don't think it's just a Dillon Gabriel problem, but we definitely need to figure something else out. Putting in Shedeur for a couple games would not hurt to see what we have for the future, and then we can go from there. But I would give Dillon a couple more starts and then go from there. But we definitely need to see some improvements in the next couple weeks, or Kevin might be gone.
Garrett from Arkansas. First of all, I think you're our first Arkansas caller. That's pretty awesome. Shout out Arkansas. All of the stuff that you just said in that voicemail, Garrett, gets answered by Jake Burns whenever I do that segment with him later in the show. So stay tuned for that. We talk about all that stuff. Dillon Gabriel, how bad is he really playing? Is it all his fault? Is it the scheme? Is it the coaching? And just to give you guys a little bit of a spoiler alert to that segment here coming up, Kevin Stefanski is not doing Dillon Gabriel any favors whatsoever. And Jake Burns kind of explains how that's working and what to look for with all that kind of stuff. And as far as the receivers go, we do discuss that as well. There are plays to be had down the field. Dillon Gabriel cannot throw the ball down the field. It just is what it is. He does not target his receivers down the field. He's not comfortable with it. He's not confident. I don't think he's competent. He cannot make the throws. You see it every week over and over again. And as far as I'm concerned, I've seen enough. I know, like you, and there's some other people that think, let's give him some more starts. Let's see what he can continue to do. Me personally, I've seen enough, guys. Like, what more do we need to see from Dillon Gabriel? I mean, we kind of knew this coming in. We had some optimism and some hope as far as the unknown of, hey, this guy started, the most games in college football. He was very good everywhere he went. The Browns tell us, he's very advanced. He knows how to run the offense. He's up to speed on all this stuff. He can execute. Well, none of that's true. Like, none of that has shown itself whatsoever on the field. So I have no reason to believe it's going to magically start looking any better, considering we have seen no progress and I'm not saying that he needs to all of a sudden look, outstanding from game 1 to game 4, but we haven't even seen the slightest, tiniest, smallest improvement or step forward from Dillon Gabriel in this offense. So I have no reason to believe that it's just magically going to start happening. And definitely not in big enough leaps and bounds to make any sort of difference for this team over the back half of the season. So I want to dive into, and I'm not going to go extensively into the Kevin Stefanski press conference yesterday. I really hate Kevin Stefanski's press conferences. And I guess before I go any further talking about the head coach here, I like Kevin Stefanski as a person. Everybody who's ever met him, talked to him on a personal level, or, just in the media and interacted with him outside of these press conferences, obviously, says the same thing. Like, he's a nice guy. He's a great guy. The locker room likes him. The players like him. He's a good players coach. I think all of that is true. And at the same time, the truth can also be that he sucks, which he does. I mean, they don't win games. So his press conferences are all the same. Got to be better. Didn't do enough. Coaching was bad. We need to coach better. We need to play better. We need to be better. We got to look at everything. Blah, 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 blah. Bullshit, whatever. Sorry, there might be some language in this episode. As much as I'm having fun during the bye week and bringing you guys information, I am also still very upset and pissed off at the state of this team. And it's not just a result of one game here in New England. It's the result of every game over the last 2+ years now. And it's just getting really freaking old. So real quick from the presser, there's just a few things to pull out of there. But injury updates, we'll just start there because we talked about it Sunday night after the game. You had, Carson Swessinger, Quinshon Judkins, Tyson Campbell, Rashawn Jenkins all go out with injuries in this game. And of course, that was just a few hours after the, matchup had ended. So we didn't really have any extensive information to the severity of those injuries. But the Browns do seem to have avoided any major injury concerns out of this game, thankfully. And that is the one positive out of Sunday. So you got Carson Swessinger was in a boot leaving the stadium on Sunday. MRI confirmed that he had a high ankle sprain, and it does not appear to be severe, because you can have a very severe high ankle sprain, got to go on IR, you can miss 4 to 6 weeks. They don't anticipate Carson Swessinger being placed on IR. He is probably going to miss some games, but hopefully it's not the 4 to 6. Now, this is also the team that said Mike Hall didn't need to go on IR, and then he missed 7 games. So who knows? Not really sure about this medical staff and the way they handle their injuries and all that stuff, but at least the news seems on the positive side of what it could have been for Carson Schlesinger. And then you got Quinshon Judkins, who has an AC joint sprain in his shoulder, and he is listed as day-to-day. Going back to Schlesinger, he is listed as week-to-week. Judkins is day-to-day. Hopefully he's available for the Browns after the bye week in New York, because if we don't have Quinshon Judkins, I have a whole lot less optimism that we can win that game on the road without Quinshon. Again, the Jets may be a bad team too, but it is very, and you'll hear all this with Jake Burns later, it is very easy for opposing defenses to defend this offense for the Browns. And we haven't even played like the best defenses. You got the Bengals shut us down, the Ravens shut us down, the Patriots. You can pass through the air very easily on the Patriots. They shut us down. Like, all you got to do is stop the run. And if we don't have Quinshon Judkins, then we stop the run ourselves for you, because we have nothing else. So hopefully he's okay. And then Tyson Campbell left with a concussion. He is listed as day-to-day, so hopefully he'll be okay for after the bye. That's 2 weeks. That should be enough time for him to get out. Hopefully it's not a Cedric Tillman concussion where he misses the rest of the freaking season. Speaking of Cedric Tillman, Kevin Stefanski did say he expects Tillman to be back after the bye week. Now, Tillman does play wide receiver, so I don't think that really bodes any significance for the offense. We had 9 total targets on 35 dropbacks and just 2 completions to wide receivers on Sunday. So adding another receiver back into the fold, I don't know. I mean, if you don't play tight end, I don't think you really matter in this offense. I am being a little facetious today and sarcastic, but man, gotta do something. Gotta do something if we're going to keep talking about the Cleveland Browns here. Okay, so then let's talk, while we're talking about receivers. One of the other things from the presser with Kevin the other day is he made a comment, or he was asked a question about Jerry Judy. And his comments about that were very interesting, made me chuckle. And if you follow us on social media, you saw what I posted about that. But Kevin said, yeah, I'm frustrated with that loss. I'm frustrated that we don't get the ball to Jerry, our best wide receiver, earlier in that game and throughout the game. Now, are there always reasons for those types of things? Sure. But it's not lost on me that Jerry's our best player at the position, and we have to get him the ball. Kevin, who's calling the plays, man? You're calling the freaking plays. How are you frustrated? How are you even remotely shocked? Like, oh yeah, we didn't get Jerry Judy a target. Not a single target until the fourth quarter. You're the one calling the effing plays, man. Are you? This is what bothers me about this team, about Kevin Stefanski. Like, I'm going to get heated about this. You call the fucking plays. You're the one in charge. If Jerry Judy does not get a target until the fourth quarter, that's on you. If you want to get Jerry Judy the ball early in the game to get him going, get your best wide receiver going, call some freaking plays early in the game that are easy completions for your quarterback, help him out a little bit, and then for your wide receiver, get him a couple screens, a couple easy slant plays, something that'll get the ball in his hands quickly and easily to get him going, to get the motor running. That's how this game works. Kevin Stefanski, I can't believe we didn't get Jerry the ball more. You call the fucking plays, man. Golly, this team sometimes just, what are we doing? This episode is sponsored by Southern New Hampshire University. Browns fans, do you ever feel stuck in your current job? Like, if you just had a different degree or some more education in a certain area, you could do something you really want to do. Well, Southern New Hampshire University has the answers for you. Head over to snhu.edu/bark to learn how you can get started on your new career today. SNHU is one of the largest online accredited universities in the United States, and it's radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Head over to snhu.edu/bark to learn how you can get started on your degree for your new career, 100% online and 100% on your time. snhu.edu/bark. Okay. That probably won't be the last one of those rants. Shedeur Sanders comments. Man, I gotta just pull this up because the comments on Shedeur. Okay, Mary Kay was asking these, and this is where I was saying on social media the other day. Don't expect Shedeur Sanders to start after the bye. It's going to be the Dillon Gabriel show until it, like, for some outside reason cannot be. Okay. Remember, it was going to be the Joe Flacco as QB2 show until Andrew Berry traded him away and Shedeur had to be QB2. When people say the Browns don't like Shedeur Sanders, and then I see like Blake and other people will, reasonably, and I don't disagree, they push back and they say, well, why would they trade 2 draft picks to move up in the 5th round to take him if they didn't like him? They wouldn't have drafted him if they didn't like him. This is where we have to split. This is where we have to split when we say the Browns don't like him, because I agree with you if you say the Browns coaching staff, or if you just want to simplify it and say Kevin Stefanski doesn't like Shedeur Sanders. We can have that conversation. We can, and I will. I will have that conversation with anybody. Now, if you say Andrew Berry and the Browns in general don't like Shedeur Sanders, no, that's not true at all. They obviously do, because they took him. This is where I think there's going to be, there is internal turmoil. Well, I'll say that 10 times fast or whatever, within the Browns organization. And I'm going to talk about some other signs of that, but it's there. It's happening. And we are witnessing the implosion and collapse of this Browns regime in real time. That's what is happening right now. Shedeur Sanders is a part of that, because it's this quarterback dilemma that they've put themselves in intentionally. Kevin Stefanski wanted Dillon Gabriel. We know that. That's been reported. That has been evident. He was handed first team reps and starter reps and all that kind of stuff from the beginning. And it has continued to be, you can call it favoritism, you can call it whatever you want for Dillon Gabriel. Fair. It has been the opposite for Shedeur Sanders from the coaching side of things. Okay. I think that Andrew Berry and the front office, maybe even ownership, whatever, they're the ones that are more interested in seeing what Shedeur Sanders can do for the team on the field. Kevin Stefanski has no interest whatsoever. And that's where we get back to these comments here. So Mary Kay says, Kevin, how did Shedeur Sanders hurt his back? He says, yeah, not sure. I mean, nothing specific, just came in, was stiff. Everything around Shedeur has just felt weird. And that comment about how he hurt his back was very strange. Not sure. Nothing specific. Okay. And then this question from Mary Kay is what stuck out to me as like, huh? Like my ears kind of perked up a little bit. And again, I don't watch the pressers because I can't stand them. I can't stand to listen to them talk. I just go read the transcript on the Browns website. But she says, the other question I had, Yeah. The other question I had was about Shedeur Sanders not playing yesterday. And this is where it's interesting. She says, I think he mentioned in the locker room that it wasn't his decision not to play. And I thought, ooh, I had not heard that. I had not heard that reported anywhere. But here's Mary Kay saying, whether it was before or after the game in the locker room, Shedeur Sanders must have actually made it known to somebody in the media, maybe Mary Kay or somebody else at Cleveland.com, that it wasn't his decision to be inactive. Now, I posted this on social media the other day, and I totally get it. It's not the player's decision all the time. The medical staff will say, you're not going out there, you can't play, we're ruling you out, all that kind of stuff. And obviously the players want to play. But I found it interesting that Shedeur Sanders felt the need to make it known to somebody, whoever it was. She didn't say who it was, but he felt the need to make it known to somebody in the media who could get the word out that it wasn't his decision to be inactive. Because she goes on in this question, here's why that's so interesting to me, because she goes on in the question and then says, if he had come to you guys and said, hey, I want to play, I can play, would that have factored into this decision at all? Or what was the thinking behind that? And Kevin says, yeah, he obviously came in Saturday with his back injury, which, he already said, we don't know, blah, blah, blah. We were hopeful that he'd be able to move around well enough to suit up on Sunday, but put him through a pregame warm-up and obviously just didn't feel like he was ready to play, Mary Kay, but he's getting better every day. Here's the typical Kevin crap. He's getting better every day, and I'm hopeful that he'll continue to improve. And I said yesterday, that does not sound like a head coach who is even considering on the slightest level to have this guy playing in a game anytime soon. So then Mary Kay follows it up with the clip that went viral on social media. And she said, why wouldn't you? Just to see if it does anything to the offense. Give him an opportunity to go in there and play. And Kevin said, yeah, honestly, my focus is where we are right now. That's not my focus. So forget it, guys. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is playing week 9 after the bye in New York. Now, obviously, things can change. We can get, news and everything next week when the team comes back, because I think they're off this week on the bye week. So when they come back to Berea and they start practicing and getting ready for the Jets, maybe things change. I don't think so. I really don't. I will be shocked. I'm at the point with these comments and things, I will be shocked if Kevin Stefanski willingly, let's put it that way, willingly benches Dillon Gabriel to start Shedeur Sanders after giving Dillon just 4 starts, which honestly, 4 starts is plenty for me. So those were the takeaways that I had from Kevin's bye-week press conference. The other big takeaway from his press conference is that it was only Kevin Stefanski. Andrew Berry, for what I believe, and I didn't vet this, but I'm pretty sure, the first time in 6 years that Andrew Berry has been the general manager for the Cleveland Browns, and if I'm wrong, guys, correct me in the chat or the comments. The first time in 6 years that Andrew Berry, as the Browns GM, has not made himself available to the media during a bye week. Where you at, Andrew? Where are you? What are you hiding from? I would love to know what's going on here. We need an explanation as to why the Browns general manager during the bye week, in the middle of the second straight, not even just a losing season, terrible, absolutely league bottom season, isn't going to make himself available to the media. Kind of cowardly, if you ask me. And that's why I think that there's some internal strife going on right now. I don't think that Kevin Stefanski was on board and maybe even notified about the Joe Flacco trade. I think that his decision to make Joe Flacco the QB2 when he was still here over Shedeur Sanders was his way of saying, I don't want Shedeur anywhere close to the starting lineup. And I think Andrew Berry trading Joe Flacco away and leaving the team with just 2 rookie quarterbacks and no veterans on the roster whatsoever, just 2 rookie quarterbacks, was his way of saying, you're going to play Shedeur at some point this year, whether you like it or not. This is going to be fun to watch. Okay, let's move on here. The next bit of news, this one, I'm telling you guys, I know Mary Kay said, about the trade rumors that she was hearing from the team and all this stuff. The Browns are unlikely to move Wyatt Teller and David Njoku and this stuff. Blake doesn't think they're trading any of those guys. The Browns just added 2 tight ends yesterday. Okay? They just added 2 tight ends. They claimed Brendan Bates off of waivers from Houston. I believe he was here over the summer and all that kind of stuff. I think he got waived, and then they added him down in Houston. They waived him. We claimed him. And now we've also added Caden Prescorn to the practice squad. He's a rookie out of Ole Miss. So I don't think you add 2 tight ends just on the first day of the new week to the roster if you're planning on, keeping one of them. I think David Njoku's gone. I think that news is going to come out here. And now whether it's this week or it's after, next week, or the week, I keep saying week 9 for the Browns and Jets. That's week 10. The week 9 coming up this weekend when the Browns are on bye. Maybe it'll be after this week that they trade. But I think Njoku's gone. I do. It sucks. I think we might have just seen the last touchdown for David Njoku in a Cleveland Browns uniform. I wanted to touch real quick on the fan reactions to Myles Garrett being upset. We kind of touched on this the other night after the game. Why are we upset that Myles Garrett was upset? At the end of the game, I don't understand this. I'm just trying to pull up some of these stats that I posted on X the other day. Myles Garrett had himself a career day, guys. A career day. He's the best player on the team. He's the best defensive player in the league. Are there games where he doesn't do as much or, sometimes, really anything impactful? I guess so. I mean, as far as the stat sheet goes. But this is the type of stuff he can do. He had 5 sacks on Sunday against Drake May. That's the most sacks in a single game in Browns franchise history, beating his own previous record of 4.5 against Justin Fields and the Bears back in 2021. Also in this game, not only did he set the franchise record for most sacks in a game at 5, it was also the franchise record most sacks for the New England Patriots that they've ever allowed in a game. And that's 5, obviously. And he also passed Hall of Famer Reggie White for the most career sacks before the age of 30. Myles Garrett is now at 112.5 sacks for his career. It is also Myles Garrett's 8th consecutive season with 10 or more sacks. After this game, he is now he was the only active player with this streak last year when it was 7. He's still the only active player in the league with this consecutive 10-plus sack streak. And another fun fact, I said this on the show Sunday, but I will reiterate, shout out to NFL and CBS on Twitter. They said no player in NFL history has ever recorded 5 sacks in a game and also in that same game had their team lose by 3 or more than 3 points. So if you've had 5 sacks in a game, your team has either won the game or lost by no more than a field goal. The Browns lost by 19. Yeah, Myles Garrett had every right to be pissed off at the end of that game. He threw his helmet down because he wanted to go back in the game, and you're mad? You're mad that the Browns are getting just annihilated, and late in the fourth quarter, your best player still wants to be on the field. And you're mad about that? Guys, we got to get our priorities straight. This is the type of thinking. This is a product of the losing culture that I bitch about all the time with this team. Fans are like, "Whoa, I can't believe Myles Garrett was so mad. He just wanted to go back in the game." He doesn't want to lose, guys. Why are we okay with losing? We should be throwing our shit on the floor too. Okay? I have no problem. Myles Garrett wanted to go back in the game. They told him no. He threw his helmet down because he was pissed. I get it. And I see, the thing is, the people that are bitching about Myles Garrett doing that are the same people that would complain if he didn't do that. If he just went and sat on the bench and was like, yeah, it's the end of the game, we're down by 19, I'm just not going to go back in. They'd be saying, oh, see, he's only here for the money. He doesn't even care. You can't win with some people, but to everybody out there that was mad or upset in any way about this, why? This is the kind of stuff you want to see, because if you don't have your best players out there saying this is unacceptable, that's what he's saying, is this is unacceptable, then we're just going to continue this losing culture over and over. Everybody was all, oh man, the Jarvis Landry clip was awesome whenever he was in the locker room on Hard Knocks, just giving it to the wide receiver. But we're mad about Myles Garrett doing it? Come on, guys. Come on. We got to get out of this losing mentality. If we don't get out of the losing mentality as fans, then there's no hope for this franchise, because they're not going to respond to anything unless we make them, is how I really feel about it. This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/dogs. You've wanted to make a change long enough? Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/dogs for $100 off your personal trainer certification. All right, so I think this is a really good spot to transition over to the conversation with Jake Burns. So we'll just kick it over to that right now. All right, like I said, I got Jake Burns from Browns Film Breakdown here joining me. Jake, how you doing this morning?
Yeah, we're okay. It's as far as a Browns world perspective, it's pretty mundane, but otherwise a good Tuesday morning, man. Thanks for having me. What's up with you? How are you?
I'm doing good. I know we've only got a few minutes here to hang out and give the listeners and viewers, some information here. I want to talk to you about your perspective, your takeaways, what you're gaining from your film breakdowns of this team. I mean, first of all, it's got to be brutal breaking down this film. It's brutal just watching the freaking games as they're happening. And then to go back and actually rewatch everything's got to be hard. But what are you seeing? Like, what are you seeing from Dillon Gabriel? What are you seeing from this Browns offense in general? Kevin Stefanski, all that kind of stuff that is just not working.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a lot.
I know.
There's a say, no, it's okay. It's a good question because I think people don't really know where to start. And that's what Cleveland Browns Daily asked yesterday. And I'm like, I mean, would you want it in bullet point form? Do you want, there's so many things. Like, I think that offensively it is, as much as it is scheme related. And I don't think they're always doing a very good job right now. I don't know that. I certainly wouldn't say they're elevating their talent. I don't know that there's a cohesive plan or an identity that they build off of and try to layer things off of that identity. So that's a part of it. And there's a big blame pie chart that you could make on this whole thing. And I remain pretty sure, fairly confident in the take that Kevin Stefanski with adequate talent to good talent can run an effective offense. Is it going to be elite in the NFL? I don't know. I can't say for certain, but he can run an adequate offense. When the talent's not good and it takes an inspiration, it takes a device, a decisive plan, a plan built on, we're going to win in these three ways this week. I don't think he's an elevator of those types. And I don't also believe, it's hard to define this, but I don't think there's a belief in the locker room that this is like their structure of offense is going to work. So what I mean by that is I don't see an inspired group of guys who are very attention to detail driven, who know that if they do their job, it's going to work. It feels like it is a collection of paychecks happening on the offense. And I don't mean that to sound crass, but they don't feel to me like a group who there's a buy-in and belief. What I would say is go watch some of the other really effective offenses. And I would even say, watch how New England played offense in this past game. They play harder. They play with a conviction about where they're going, what they're doing, and how they're doing it. That is the belief in the huddle of this call is going to work. And if we just execute it, it's going to work. We have a belief that what they're giving us is going to pan out if we just do our job. Whereas I don't very often get that vibe, especially when the game wears on. You have 2 or 3 series where they obviously had a nice script on the opening drive, which hit on some really nice, fun plays that I thought were noteworthy. Obviously, Malachi Corley's jet sweep, which I think he's an extension of the run game as a type of prospect coming out into the NFL world. And you hit that, he plays 4 snaps. So he plays 3 snaps the entire rest of the game. They don't really build off of the success of that jet sweep in any way. No play action off of it, nothing coming back to it, nothing that makes the defense is afraid that, they might return to that. But you know what I mean? Go back and watch the Vikings offense who hit one of those, and they used it 3 or 4 times, 2 times on run, a couple times on play action to hold guys in place and hit some throws. And it's okay, you never visited that again. You have a nice little insert corner route from the fullback who's fanning on the play for a touchdown. Didn't really revisit anything off of that. There's no building and layering. And from that, I think there's just a lack of an identity. So so often they put themselves in 2nd and 8+, that then they try to run in a very vanilla way usually just between the tackle box. There's so little run game diversification here that it's easy to defend. So then it's 3rd and 7. Like every series is rendering a 3rd and 7, or at least a 3rd and 5 plus. And we know they don't really have a plan for that. It's just straight drop back stuff that occasionally it works, and more often than not, it doesn't. So what I think it is clearly there's talent lacking, right? Like you're playing Isaiah Bond a ton of snaps. You're playing Jamari Thrash, who's, I think, having a better second year in the NFL. Obviously, whatever's going on with Jerry Judy, like, and I don't think Jerry is just like, been Monstart here and doesn't have any talent anymore. I certainly think that he's in a rut, and there's like no clear path to getting him out of it because they don't have a quarterback who wants to throw the football in any way that allows him to, believe his quarterback has faith that he can go get a ball or throw with anticipation. So like it's scheme related. Yes. It's talent related. Yes. They're not getting the best out of the offensive line. I think they're years past their prime, almost all of them, and play on their heels this way more than they used to. I mean, they used to bury people. There'd be clips of guys burying people. There were those special clips of Wyatt Teller running in space, embarrassing. That doesn't happen anymore. Mm-hmm. Like I'm watching that happen around the league for teams. They don't get that result anymore. They're out physical every week at the point of attack. So you have that, you have all of it. And then you have a quarterback who's a 3rd round rookie go look up guys selected in the 3rd round in the last decade. I think Jacoby Brissett, your best result. Guys picked at 3rd round after, even 2nd round guys. It's so rare they find success. And yeah, everybody wants to bag on Dillon Gabriel. I'm with you. He's playing awful football. No doubt about it. He's not good enough right now, but he's playing in an offense that is demanding he find the answer all the time, basically on his own most often. And like, if you want to track back the last 20 years, guys selected in the 3rd round and later who have found success, go look at the offenses they arrived in and how they propped them up, made life easier on them. And even like if you want to go to Russell Wilson and be like, hey, man, look what the defense was the best of the decade. Like, this is the point. You're playing a 3rd rounder rookie. And if you play Shedeur, he's going to be a 5th round rookie, whether you want to believe he's a 2nd round talent or not. Even so, like the Browns' choice to take 2 quarterbacks in the 3rd and 5th, and I understand, take swings at quarterback, try to find. You're doing these guys such a disservice putting them in this offense. You need a Drake May that can maybe overcome some of that, but that's only getting a guy early. So it's like, this is bigger philosophical stuff, but Dillon's playing terrible, and he should, based on the way things are around him, based on the track record of pick. Not that he should, but this is totally expected based on the environment he arrived in. Kevin's not doing a very good job coaching, and the guys up front are not performing the way we hope. They're kind of aging themselves out of the league, to be completely honest with you. And then like the wide receiver skill talent's not enough. So that's it. I mean, and that's how you get a historically bad offense.
So let me ask you this then, because, for the first few years of Kevin's tenure here, what we heard and what we believed and what we saw on the field was that his offense was, and I think you might have talked to us about this a couple of years ago, kind of more designed to take the pressure off the quarterback, mask some of the quarterback's flaws, put him in a position to be successful with the way the offense functions around him. So
they don't get to that anymore, Josh. They don't get to it. They don't get to play action that matters.
That's what exactly.
There's very little opportunity for a quarterback to find easy answers within what they're doing, because a lot of the West Coast staples that he likes to run are very common, and defenses feel very comfortable defending them. And he doesn't have a way to devise up quick answers that make the quarterback's life really easy. So like consistently, here and there they will, but not consistently. And the run game that build into your play action, their ability to make their run and pass reflect one another is moot. They don't get to that stuff. They don't get to bootlegs the way they used to. And for reasons I don't understand. I think it's a failure of Kevin's ability to take what he did in Minnesota for 18 months as the offensive coordinator and then apply it then to Cleveland, which he did. And I think if I'm being transparent again, these guys owe Nick Chubb some of their money, because Nick's ability to make everything work in rugged situations, and admittedly the offensive line was better when he was at his peak, no doubt, but his ability to mask and make something out of situations that weren't, I mean, sometimes even functional, is amazing. Because I like Q. I think he's a good player, but he's not Nick. And Nick was able to do some ridiculous stuff. And the moment Nick went out in 23 was the moment this offense couldn't run the football again. Like, just couldn't do it. They haven't been able to do it for 3 years. So, like, to me, Kevin's ability to adapt from what he did in Minnesota with the Kubiak structure to what he did his first year and second year in Cleveland, and then the NFL has evolved. Yes. They all defend it now. Every team has seen a variation of it, heavy variations of it. Most teams have cycled through a coach who uses it. And if they haven't, they've at least seen it extensively in the NFL. It's not unusual for defenses anymore the way it used to be. Go back, you know, if you're a real loser like me, like go back and watch like 2020 tape and watch how second level defenders struggled with play action. They would bite so hard on this stuff, man, and create voids and opportunity. His ability to do what he did in that time period of when he was at Minnesota and hired in Cleveland, he's not been able to adapt it like the best in the world have been able to. Go look at the forefront of where Shanahan, McVay, LaFleur, Reed, how these guys have altered who they are and become very moldable into a structure that it fits more of like what defenses are. Like, they give them looks that are so dressed up. And I tried to highlight this on our Twitter page about a very similar concept run by the Browns and Packers on Sunday. Yeah, that is just completely dressed up differently to make a defense adjust, to make them pre-snap be in one look that has to adjust because of post-like motion that's effective and meaningful. He can't solve it. And I don't mean to be like me. He might be a good head coach. He might be a good leader. And I think all that's true. He's a great, seems like a great guy, but I don't think he has the ability here to evolve in a way that is keeping up with how defenses have evolved. And he's easy to defend. He's easy to defend. And he also doesn't have very much talent. And if you don't have that kind of talent, you also, you know, again, it all gets magnetized, man. Like, it's all going to be on top of each other. And if you have a lack of talent, you have a lack of diversity, and you have a lack of adaptability in your process of calling plays, it's the product we're watching on Sunday where I'm like, I can't keep watching this. This is awful. So yeah,
that's what I've been saying a lot too. Is, you know, is it coaching? Is it the personnel? It's both. Why can't it be the combination of the two? Like, nothing is good right now with this team. And I keep telling you guys out there to go watch Jake's breakdowns, Browns film breakdown on Twitter. Or the clip he's talking about, the Browns ran the play and it went for a loss, I believe. And the Packers ran the same, what did you say, variation of the same type of play, and they scored a touchdown on it. It was just drawn up better and all that kind of stuff. But I guess what I want to hit here before I got to let you go here in a few minutes, but you started this by saying if Kevin had better talent and good talent, he could run an effective offense, probably not elite, but effective. I'm hearing everything you're saying, though, and everything that I've seen over the last few years makes me believe that they could get whatever talent they want in here over the next couple of years and ride this thing out with him. I've been saying to Blake for weeks now, I don't think he's going to be the coach to get us past a certain point ever because of his inability to adapt and adjust. And there's nothing. We've seen it for 6 years now. And if you're not going to change at this point, it's not going to happen, at least in my opinion. What do you think about that?
It's all what, you know, you want to tolerate, which just sounds silly.
Well,
but like,
I'm tired of tolerating losing.
We kind of talked about this on my show we did last night, which is like, hey, they're probably going to win 5 games this year. That's being generous the rest of the way. That's 3 more wins. Maybe the Jets, Titans, and somebody else, the Bengals Raiders. Week 18 or Raiders. Sure. So 5 games feels like a fair number. Could be 4. Hell, it could be 3, but whatever. That's the point. But the point is that would make him 8-26 across 2 seasons. Yeah. And if you go back and track the history of the NFL, not many coaches who didn't have their first year be the struggle year have survived this kind of stuff. 2 straight prolonged losing seasons in the way that they're putting together here. The only example that's moderately close is like Marvin Lewis, who came off of winning the division with Carson Palmer in like 2005. And then 2007, he had like a 4-11-1 season. Then they went 10-6 and won the division again. And then they went like 4-12 again. So it was like across 3 seasons, Marvin Lewis had 2 awful seasons. And then they got in the spot where they had to get rid of Carson Palmer, and they found a Hail Mary. The Hail Mary was like the 2010 or 11 draft when they drafted AJ Green, the Hall of Fame wide receiver. And in the second round, they found Andy Dalton. And that's what the Browns need. Their only hope here is that they hit a Hail Mary of finding whatever order you want of these guys. That's whatever. If you want to take, hypothetically speaking, Fernando Mendoza, and then you maybe take Carnell Tate at pick like 18, and it really, really resets your offensive culture and you unlock some stuff. But I don't know. He had to like Marvin Lewis had to fire his offensive coordinator that was with him from the 2003 season, was with him for 7 seasons at that point. So like, that's the only example I can find. They went on to win the division or be second in the division, make the playoffs for 5 straight years. I think they lost every single wild card game, but like that's the only example I can find where a guy kept his job and like found some success. So but then again, is he giving up play calling? Is he giving that to Tommy Rees? Does Tommy a long-term take control of the offensive coordinator in perpetuity? If they let Tommy go, maybe they keep Kevin and hire in a new offensive coordinator. So then you're on your 3rd offensive coordinator. You're on your 2nd defensive coordinator already and your 2nd special teams coordinator. At some point, the common denominator is one thing. And like, that's where I'm like, if the Browns do this, keep him after 8-26. No one's really done that over the course of 2 seasons in the middle of a coaching career. So that's going to be a bit unheard of. And obviously the most 2-year stretch unheard of thing ever, a guy keeping a job, was Hugh Jackson, right? But they kept him clearly a year too long and obviously fired him after 6-7 games that season. So it was just obvious he was lame duck, but Jimmy wanted to fight his perception of I fire guys too quickly. I didn't give him enough talent. Now I'm giving him talent. 7 games in, he's still the same guy getting you the same results. So we're going to fire him. It feels very similar. I think Kevin's a better head coach than Hugh Jackson. He's going to get an opportunity to work in the league still. Maybe he gets another head coaching job. I don't know, but he's going to get a chance. I just don't think where this roster is, and even if they draft a high selected quarterback, that he can be the guy to put it together and develop that guy and develop an offense that caters and almost the word is protects that guy as he develops in the league. I just don't have faith in that. And my only feeling of like, how do you feel comfortable with Kevin Stefanski back is if he's not calling the offense, if he turns it over and he plays full CEO. But that's again to my point of like, then you're on your 3rd OC. It's all these elements of like, what are we doing here? Like, why do we, you know what I'm saying? So I just am, I don't trust it. And I don't see how there's a healthy path forward with him structuring this offense. And if he's not structuring the offense as the offensive minded head coach, I mean, kind of turns into what are we doing here business. So the data of this is rough. His performance tied to the data is rough. And it is not a thing that should make Browns fans feel optimistic. And to me, it's not to say, I mean, because obviously the Marvin Lewis thing is there and it's meant to show you that there is, I guess, I mean, but the thing is that 2 straight seasons of losing so many games does render your messaging to be challenge, how you're talking them through it, getting them to buy in, the belief. The Marvin Lewis example is close-ish, but in the middle of that, he won the division. So you can do 4-11, win the division 10-6, and then have another 4-12. But like, you didn't have 2 straight years of that. And that's where it's like, are guys believing what you're saying? Are guys buying into your vision for what it takes to win? I think if you were the effort police in some of these games, your alarm bell would be going off at times. Sure. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't have the answer to all this. I'm not in Berea. I don't know what the players feel like. I don't know what the coaches feel like. There's a lot of stuff that you, as a fan, you lean into ownership to find the answer, to find the root of the issue and sniff it out and make the decision accordingly. But God, how do you trust that to get done correctly? So it's like,
there's so much I see on the field on Sundays that I understand that we're playing a ton of rookies, ton of young guys, but there's so many times I watch plays. I'm like, these guys don't know what they're doing. And to me, a lot of that goes back to coaching during the week. Like, what are we doing in practice? Like, I can understand that happening from time to time throughout a game, but it's like every freaking series, there's plays where it's just, we run the wrong route. We turn the wrong way. We're, not on the same page. Running back goes the opposite direction. It drives me nuts. I guess I know you got to get out of here. Last thing. People keep asking about the receivers. Are they getting separation? Are they actually open, or do they just suck? Are they covered? Is there nobody to throw the ball to? Just real quick before you got to go, what do you see downfield with these receivers? Is Dillon just missing guys, or is there really nothing open?
There are opportunities to take. I wouldn't say these guys are great. I mean, these guys aren't good collectively. The unit is. Bad. Especially even down Tillman is not good. I mean, there's not a bunch of physicality there. They don't have a ball winner. They had 2 catches in a 35 drop back game from wide receivers. And in a game that was over by the third quarter, and you're just playing chuck the football against zone coverage in the fourth quarter. And like, yes, Dillon is not, he doesn't throw to wide receivers well right now. He only really uses the middle of the field well. He doesn't have anticipation on throws outside the hashes yet. And he's missed some chances down the field. So I don't think they're as bad as like those laughable results I just mentioned. I think the quarterback is struggling in that world. It's kind of the same as like when Deshaun Watson couldn't find a wide receiver successfully for a while last year. Yeah. And then Jameis arrives and Tillman's taken off and Judy's taken off. You have quarterbacks who are good at using those portions of the field, and then you have some that aren't. So Dillon is not comfortable in that space yet. Maybe he someday gets there with prolonged playing experience, but I think it'd be pretty big jump and a lot of faith to think that's a result. So I don't think they're as bad as some of these like laughable results, but these guys aren't. When teams go man, they're very sticky to these guys. So I don't. There's not a bunch of openings, but there's also not any footballs being thrown that throws them open or gives them an opportunity to go win a ball downfield. Right? Like, I don't think that's happening either. So. Big blame chart. It's all spread around, but for sure. I mean, when you got Mark Schlereth on the broadcast pretty much saying, I have no idea what these guys are trying to do here with this wide receiver core. And that's the case of like, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish as an offense. A lot of time it is very much, hey, we have these designed third and medium plays. We run these plays only. We can't build. We can't layer. We can't use things that come back to it in the second part of the game that builds off something we ran 2 times in the first time. They have like a very small, finite set of those things they bring in week to week, but it's a cluster, man. It is really bad. And if I have to watch them hand the football off into a 9-man box on 2nd and 9 one more time, I'm going to lose my mind because I don't understand what they're doing with this stuff. But yeah. Yep. It's a tough time right now, especially I feel for you breaking down the film all because you got to go back in and rewatch all this crap and try to analyze it. But hey, everybody just a reminder of what Jake's doing over at Browns Film Breakdown is excellent work, top notch. And if you want a deeper perspective of the Browns, on Sunday after the game, like what the hell did I just watch? Jake is the place to go. BrownsFilmBreakdown.com. Check him out. Subscribe over there on Substack and follow him on Twitter. He's the man. Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me, and you guys keep crushing it over there. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. Yep. Man,
everything about this Browns offense, the team in general, Kevin Stefanski running the show, I have no hope. And I'm not trying to, I don't want to bring you guys down. I don't want to, exude the hopelessness out there to everybody listening and watching. But where's the faith right now? What are you putting your faith in? And I guess that's the biggest thing. And I want to, that's something I keep meaning to say to Blake when we have our arguments on Sunday nights. I just keep forgetting. But what has Kevin Stefanski done well in the last couple years that makes you think he can continue to get this team on the right track? Like, what have you seen from him? Because to me, I have seen a robot in the media, and I know, that's just the way Kevin is or whatever. Dude, you're a running joke. You're a running meme. I mean, people quote you as a joke. Just need to be better. Like that's people use that in their workspaces now. Like if something doesn't go right or they make a mistake, they're like, well, we're just gonna have to be better. Got to be better. It's a joke. It has become a joke, and it's like once you become a joke, you don't unbecome a joke, especially for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, I don't know. But hey, listen, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I'll probably wrap this up here now. There's so many other things I could get into, nitty gritty and picking stuff, but we'll be back. I'm going to do a Dog Pack Discord show later this week. So if you're not a member of the Dog Pack, go to jointhedogs.com. I'll set the schedule for later this week because we don't have to do it specifically on Thursday at 3 o'clock. For a preview show, we could do it Thursday night, Friday, whenever more people are available to tune in. And we'll probably do that. But it's going to be a good time. We got a whole lot of other things planned for over this bye week. I hope they actually come to fruition. I'm waiting on a couple of responses from people and potential guests and all that kind of stuff. But I'll be here. I'll still be giving you guys some updates and things like that. Just to reiterate, do not expect, at least I don't expect, anything to change after the bye week. I see like chops on ESPN 850, the clips going around, like something's going to change after the bye week. Guys, I don't think anything's changing after the bye week. If we've learned anything from Kevin Stefanski over the last couple of years, it's that, man, this dude is a his way or the highway kind of guy. He's not going to change anything. The dude doesn't adapt. We talked about that with Jake. Like he doesn't adapt anything. They're just throwing crap against the wall and hoping something will work, and it doesn't. It's just even if they come out and say that they're giving play calling duties to Tommy Rees and he's going to call the offense now on Sundays, it's still going to be the same offense. It's going to be the same offense. It's going to be Dillon Gabriel. He still can't throw the ball. It doesn't matter who calls the plays. He still can't throw the ball. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we'll do therapy sessions the rest of the season. And then, hopefully in the off season, we'll see some changes made because I just can't do this anymore. I really can't. But everything you guys are thinking, feeling, if you disagree with me, agree, whatever the case may be, put it in the comments. I love reading through it, looking at it all. Let's have some debate and some conversations, and we'll just see what happens here as the bye week continues to go on. Shout out to Jake Burns once again. Go to brownsfilmbreakdown.com to see all the work that he's doing. It is phenomenal. Jake is a great guy. He does great work. He puts it all in a presentation and a delivery that is easy to digest and understand, but at the same time gives you more insight to not just the Browns, but how an NFL team operates, how an offense operates, different concepts, different schemes, different route variations, just all the terminology that you hear sometimes, like even on the broadcast on Sundays, that maybe you're like, I don't really even understand how that all works. Jake breaks it down and explains it and will help educate in a way that is informative, entertaining, and insightful. It's really good stuff. So go check him out. Thank you guys for tuning into our show. We appreciate you guys helping us continue to grow and build this brand, build this platform, build this show. All of our social media platforms, every interaction you guys have with us helps us grow. And you can see it. The growth of this show has been happening like crazy over the last few years. And it's all because you guys are helping us every day. And I from the bottom of my heart, I'm not just saying this to say it. Like I sincerely mean this. Thank you. You guys are the best audience in the world. I love doing this for you guys. We all love doing it for you guys, and we're going to keep doing it. So tune in later this week. Like I said, Dog Pack Discord live sometime later this week, and then we've got more stuff over the bye. Stay up, stay positive as much as possible, and check us out on the social medias for all the updates between now and the next show, and I'll see you guys in that one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Browns fans, if you're like me, the stresses in life only increase the older you get. Your family, your job, your bank account, just a few things that drive the cycle of stress every day. And if you have people constantly depending on you, it can put a heavy weight on your mental health. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? Why does no one appreciate everything I'm trying to do for them? If these thoughts have ever darkened your day, 1, you're not alone, and 2, I highly recommend talking to someone, and that's where BetterHelp could be the right resource for you. Head to BetterHelp, HELP.com/dogs, DAWGS for 10% off your first month of talk therapy. Just fill out a simple questionnaire and BetterHelp will match you with the best therapist for your needs. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time for no extra cost. BetterHelp is 100% online. You can talk with your therapist on the phone, via face chat, or even through text message. Your therapist will listen, ask questions, and help you see things from new perspectives. So what are you waiting for? Take the first step to making positive improvements in your life. Head to BetterHelp.com/dogs now for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/dogs for 10% off your first month.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key, and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.